Hello and welcome to the wonderful world of old sheet music. I am Nicholas Carroll, your host. Today we are looking at not so much as sheet music, though it was in my piles of sheet music that I have been going through. It's kind of like a small song book. It's like a miniature hymnal, I guess you could say. Though it doesn't have just hymns, it has a lot of various songs from various different cultures. This thing is called the song Patriot. You can see from this picture, it is quite old, it is quite faded, and it is a bit raggedy. And when you look inside of this, it is thus far the oldest thing I have found in my collection of stuff here. It is from 1892. And it even has somebody's name written in it. And if you try to read it, it looks like it says Professor W.G. Fowler. So, I can't tell you who that is, but that's who owned this at one point. This is a song Patriot. It is a booklet of songs for school and home. It was printed in Syracuse, New York. And it says here that to give music just as it was written, this songbook is made simplified for those who are not privy to training. This gives songs that are strong, healthful, and helpful, both in music and in words. There is no sickly sentimentality in this budget series. Life is real, life is earnest in these songs, and it is happy too. Sad songs may also be found here, for the youthful mind craves the sweet sorrow of pathetic contemplation. But the pathos is always real and always offers helpful suggestions. Nothing mawkish, nothing of strained or affected emotion will be found in this book. And there you have it. So I'm going to play a few of these. I'm going to look up one of the more interesting ones and give you an idea of what each of these are like rather than go through all of them because, you know, there is a whole booklet of things here. So the first one I thought was a little bit interesting is the Over the Mountain Wave. This is the first one. And we have a kind of woodblock carving type print that I believe is supposed to be pilgrims coming off the Mayflower. So the lyrics to this song are, over the mountain waves, see where they come, storm cloud and wintry wind, welcome them home, yet where the sounding gale howls to the sea, there, song peals along, deep-toned and free, pilgrims and wanderers, hither we come, where the free dare to be, this is now our home. So let me play a little bit of that now that you've heard the words. I can get this to stay open here. So it's written very much like a hymn. Doesn't have a very familiar tune anyway, and it's also this kind of free music where there's not really much of a time signature. It's like every measure is kind of its own thing. So unless you already know the tune, which I don't, it's pretty hard to interpret, you know, what speed you're supposed to be going on that. So that was from the patriotic song section. I'm going to pick one from each section here. Our next section is war songs, and the first one here is called The Empty Sleeve. So let's look at that. This is page 32. And we have a woodblock print again, of a Civil War soldier, clearly now with an empty sleeve, that I'm assuming he lost his arm in the Civil War. So, the words are, by the moon's pale light to this gazing throng, let me tell one tale, let me sing one song. 'Tis a tale devoid of aim or plan, 'tis a simple song of a one-armed man. Till this very hour I can ne'er believe what a telltale thing is an empty sleeve. What a wondrous weird thing is an empty sleeve. So that's the words. Let me play it for you here now. It does say this can be a duet or a solo. Now, this does actually have a footnote here, so let me read that too, because this is a little bit interesting. The poem from which the empty sleeve was abridged for musical adaptation is stated to have been written on the public reception of Major General O.O. Howard in the city of Bangor, Maine, after the loss of his arm at the Battle of Fair Oaks, Virginia. The accompanying likeness is from a large portrait of General H. So, General Howard there, that's supposed to be him. All right, next section of our little booklet here is called Songs for the Return of Peace. Let's see, I'm going to pick out the Schoolhouse Dedication song. There's only 2 songs under this heading that I saw there. And this one says, fling wide the doors of learning's hall and make its blessings free to all, that children here may ever find the purest treasures for the mind. To freedom, love, and radiant truth, we dedicate these halls for youth, and raise on high the earnest prayer that heaven may pour its blessings here. Schoolhouse Dedication. That's all there is to it. It's pretty short. There's really not much bass part there. So even though the book's closing, I'm not, playing the left hand, mostly for that reason, but there is only like 1 note there anyway. So we're not missing much that this book won't stay open for me to read out of it. Next section we have is National Hymns from Other Lands. And let's see what we got here. How about Tyrolese Maiden's Song? Let's see what that's about. The Tyrolese Maiden's Song, and it does say English here. Down in my native vale flowers bloom so fair, shoes here and thistles grow, grapes there and clusters grow. On my native vale kindness is there, kind faces there you meet, kind words your presence greet. And here's our tune. So far, the ones I've sampled, that one actually has somewhat of a tune that's a little bit singable. I think you could actually remember the tune to that one. And the last section here is called Songs of Sentiment, which I think is kind of interesting, since this intro I had read earlier said that there is no sentimentality, even though there's a whole section called Songs of Sentiment. So let's see, let's pick one of these. I'm going to go with "O Wert Thou in the Cauld Blast." All right, this says, "O wert thou in the cauld blast on yonder lea, my plaidy to the angry airt, I'd shelter thee, I'd shelter thee. Or did misfortune's bitter storm around the blaw, thy shield should be my bosom to share it, ah. Oh, were I in the wildest waste, say black and bare, the desert were a paradise if thou wert there. Or were I monarch of the globe, with thee to reign, the brightest jewel in my crown would be my queen, So it seems like it may be Scottish, Celtish, maybe Irish. It's one of those types of countries based on the language, though it doesn't actually tell me here on the book. So the last thing here, I'm going to look at, these are songs from Russian countries. This is, I'm going to look up this one called the Scarlet Seraphim, and that's the last category here we have. And the Scarlet Seraphim. Why, my mother, wilt thou sow the scarlet seraphim? Useless must thine effort be, and all thy labor vain. Daughter, cease thy folly, and do not talk so gay. Know that life's bright morning will not always stay. When at length the roses from thy cheeks do flee, thou wilt find its pleasures are but vanity. Thou wilt feel its pleasures are but vanity. Do not smile, but do believe in what thy mother says. Swiftly flies the bloom of youth, and beauty soon decays. So, a bit bleak, right? And it does have a asterisk here to tell us that a seraphim is the dress of a young Russian woman. So I guess it's saying don't worry about sewing a pretty dress because your beauty's gonna fade anyways. So let's see what this sounds like. It's got a bleak lyric, so let's see if the music matches that. If I can get this to stay open, I'll try to play both hands for us. I'm going to see if I can hold this part. Okay. few strange chords, it really was just in G major, even though that doesn't really suit the tone of the lyrics. So part of me also wonders about the translation as far as that goes, that, you know, I don't, obviously this is written in kind of like the King's English with all the vowels and wilts, and clearly if it was a Russian folk song, it was not originally in that, so that often changes the tone of lyrics when you translate them if you're trying to maintain the rhyme scheme, which they were trying to do somewhat. So again, just to give you another look at this, this was the Song Budget Series 3 song Patriot. This was published in 1892. The cover fell off of it while I was doing this. Let me pick that up and show you the artwork again, because it is pretty interesting. I know it's faded, but you can see there's basically a well-dressed woman and a bunch of other younger ladies singing with her. There's one baby being held there, and there's another woman back there, possibly looks like it's supposed to be a maid. Don't really see any fellas, as it were, but we do have a picture up here of probably George Washington, I'm assuming, to go along with the song Patriot thing. Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.